chaos at the minute, like
Uh,
especially when releases, because it's like I have so much content to film and then edit and upload whilst also trying to do like the artist stuff.
yeah, completely understandable. Completely understandable. So, obviously, your time is precious. So, if we just jump straight into it, is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, so obviously, you're doing a lot of stuff for the press release and stuff. Where do we find you today? Are you at home or you on the road?
I'm in London. I'm just at the studio, like
Oh,
studio
cool.
slash office that my management have that I don't live too far away from, so they see me every day. God bless them.
Excellent, excellent. We're both from London then, which is pretty cool. Um,
Oh no.
yeah, so we could have met up and done this in person. But you've obviously got a run of shows coming up as well. Across the world, music coming out. Does it feel like this is a focus period now? You've got the track out and you're getting the stuff out and you're focused on where you're going, or does it still feel a bit chaotic, as you were just saying?
It's always chaos. That's the thing. Like, it's just what brand of chaos we're dealing with. Like, for the last album, I did the album basically when I put the first single out. Oh my God, when was that? Like 2024, April 2024. And then I didn't stop all the way up until Christmas just passed. It was like the minute you put one thing out, the ball's rolling and you're just going with it. Because we did a deluxe as well. So then I took January off, which was absolutely lovely. Was back home in Ireland, just literally hung out with my mum, took care of the pony, and watched Traders and put on like easily like a stone and a half, maybe even 2 stone. But anyway, all I had to say, like that was my like break because I didn't take a holiday for like 4 years or anything. So then now we've just released Working for the Man, which is like pretty much me in the grind for the next like 2 years.
Well, it's going to be my question because you're really active on social media all the time, and it seems like you never give yourself a moment's break, even when you're saying you're on holiday there to say, but you're still out there. And does that come naturally to you? Is that part of your daily life anyway, regardless of being in the spotlight, or is that something that you kind of
Oh,
deliberately
I
include?
Yeah, well, the, like I was definitely an internet kid, right? I was lucky that my hobby was outdoorsy, right? So the horse riding, the show jumping, all this, it was outside. But like I was heavily like logged on since I was like 10, since we got broadband and not dial up, you know what I mean? Like so I've always found solace in the internet, like when I was getting bullied as a teenager and all that kind of stuff. And just the growing pains of yeah, being a teenage girl, like my safe place and my playground was definitely on the internet. Like I started my YouTube channel in like 2006.
Wow.
And I know, and I was uploading like silly wee horse videos and like just wee life things and videos of my friends and stuff. Obviously, they're not on the channel anymore, but I've always loved like that side of things. And like I think it was like 2013 when I was working on my first album. I was like, "Do you know what, I'm gonna take this YouTube thing back up, because like I I don't know, I liked it. And I remember it being kind of laughed at in the industry as well when I was posting vlogs and stuff, and people
Yeah.
being like, oh, that's so cute that you like upload these little videos, like I could never do it, so cute. And I'm like, okay. um so I
Now
definitely
wants
had
to.
this. Yeah, and then watching the internet take over, especially after like COVID and stuff, was very funny because the same people that were like laughing at me were
Jumping
then
on the
having to
bandwagon.
post. And I was like, well, sucks, so yes, for you. But like it's something that's always kind of, yeah, come naturally. And I think with my upbringing with TV and stuff, I see it as such a blessing to be the one in the editor's chair.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't know, I'm an oversharer chronically, so I do it on the internet now.
Well, because I want to get on, I want to talk more about obviously working for the man, but I just wanted to jump back to obviously you're talking about how you started and stuff, and obviously your career obviously had a giant spotlight on it at quite a public, kind of way.
Arena.
Yeah. Do you? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Do you feel that that's the reason that you find yourself that you're a kind of a sharer, or was that kind of a defense mechanism to being so put in the public spotlight, or do you think that's who you were naturally were?
Um, so like obviously before the show, I had my YouTube channel before the show, and like I didn't know it at the time because I was a kid. But like I started uploading my YouTube covers, and in like 2010 I had like 20,000 subscribers, which was a lot for those days because geez, the biggest channel would have had 1 million. But I had no concept of it because that was never my reasoning for doing any of it. I don't know. I've just been a very online sharing type of person. And then doing a show like The X Factor, like you're watching it live with everyone else, up until the live shows, like you're watching it with everyone. So have no idea how you've been edited or how you're going to come across and like all this kind of stuff. I got very lucky though, I will say, with how like they portrayed me and like the VTs and all that. So I don't know, but I just it excited me again whenever I got back in the driver's seat of like, my music and my career, that it was like, oh, like I can just edit it.
Yeah,
Like
but
so yeah.
there's a level of authenticity that you want to maintain there, isn't it? You want to be able to showcase the version, well, not the version of yourself, but the you basically the way you really are instead of being edited on TV. Yeah,
Yeah, and like I said, they were very kind to me on the TV show, which I very much appreciated. But like I don't know, it just seemed like the thing that I should do for myself because like I had a very and I have a very international following. So it just felt weird to like do a show like X Factor where like people get to know you and they kind of get invested in you as a person. And then to just kind of put music out felt, and just music and only
hmm
music related content didn't feel like overly natural because, people seemed to really care about me, which was very sweet and very bizarre. So it was like the marrying of the two worlds of being a very online kid with like internet savvy and editing savvy, and then people being invested. It was just like, okay, I mean, let's mix the two and see what happens.
So, I mean, obviously, you've moved into your storytelling kind of music. It kind of fits perfect in the country and Americana, and obviously you played a lot of festivals. Like I personally saw you at the Long Road Festival last year, which was a fantastic performance.
Jeez, no way.
Yeah, a very I would say uh, energetic kind of performance there, and you made some bold decisions fashion wise as well as um, where you play. Is that all down to you again? Are you in control of these things, or is that how you want to go out on stage that day, or is that
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like most of the team at that time was dudes. Like they're not gonna be like, "Hey, what are you wearing?" Nah, I don't like that outfit. No, it's very much myself. Um, I don't know. Like I think obviously I posted clips from Long Road and stuff, and then people being like, "Oh my God, what are you wearing?" or whatever, or like it's something about it being revealing or whatever. Me in a pair of dancers tights that like are so thick you can't even see through, and a leotard, and I find that funny because it's just like
I was
I'm
talking more about the
30,
cap, talk about the cap on the
my
hair,
big
but
cowboy hat and the big hair.
yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know, like I think I'm aware of my age. I'm 30. There's not many times you can wear some of those things. Like I'm trying to make the most of what I got for when I have it. And like the hair wasn't a choice even by me. That was the only wig I had that day. I couldn't find my other one, so we just went big hair for both days. And yeah, I mean cowboy hat. It's not even a cowboy hat. It's an outback hat, but
Yeah.
here to
I
most
mean,
people it looks
the performances were great. I mean, the just the sense from the crowd there as well, and just that I was being told by because I was capturing stuff across as well as reviewing the festival. I was kind of getting footage and stuff, and people were telling me to go over to you, even though I was already coming over to you anyway. They were like, "Oh, you've got to go and see Janet Devlin." So it's like that's how much you were kind of having a ripple effect through the festival. So it was fantastic to see that there in person,
yeah.
but then obviously to kind of see it happening to your career, obviously as it's
Were you
happening.
there for the Friday or the Saturday?
I was there for the whole weekend, so it was
Oh, okay. Because I
it
was
was good.
thinking, because like the Friday
That's
night
what, yeah,
was
yeah,
so sick.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
the vibes were amazing. And like the second day was great, but there was just something about the energy in the little tent on the Friday
Yeah,
night that was really
the
special.
buddies bar. Yeah, that's where
Yeah.
I was right at the front, so it was a good
So,
night. But let's move on to your new material now. Obviously, working for the man now. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you originally sort of wrote the original version of this 17 years ago, was it? Was that
I wrote it when I
rough?
was 17,
Well,
so
you
that
were sorry,
was 14 years
14
ago
years ago.
coming
Yeah,
up.
I'm getting my numbers
Yeah.
mixed up there. Yeah, so I always like to pretend I'm slightly younger than I am. But no, but you when you look back at that original writing, obviously was it Jack Savetti that you wrote?
Savaretti, yeah, Jack
Yeah.
Savaretti.
Do you remember kind of like how you felt then and how you feel now? Is it still the same? You know, when you kind of penned that?
The emotion's the same, absolutely. Like, it was one of my first like co-writing sessions because like I'd always written songs. Like for as long as I can remember, I've always written. But like to write with another person is another thing. And then to write with someone that I was a fan of was
Yeah.
like another thing. I freaked him out in the writing session because, like I said, I hadn't done co-writes. So he was like just playing the chords and every so often checking in on me. And I was writing the stuff down. And I didn't sing anything out loud. Like, so he's just sat in his room, just like looping the guitar, right? And I didn't know
Trying to
till,
mind read what you
yeah,
did.
I didn't know till we went for lunch with his manager that he'd literally written the session off because I hadn't sang a note to him. And then what, maybe like an hour, and I was like, right, I think I got it. And that being like the first verse and chorus or something. And he's like, wait, what? So then sang him the verse and chorus, and then it was like, okay, cool. So then that was that. And then I wanted it to go on my first album, but the first album, so the one that's out there is Run with Scissors, but there was an album before that, and that was called Hide and Seek, and I binned it. And unfortunately, that song was on the binned album, and it really bugged me because working for the man was like, I played it at my first festival, I played it at my first ever show of mine, um, and I loved it, and I loved what it was saying, and then to not put it out was I felt really bad because
Okay.
fans loved it and I loved it. And then when I was out in Nashville the last trip I was out, and we did the 22 songs in 3 days. On one of the days, then I was like, I think I can chuck. So whenever they were like, "What's the next song?" I was like, "Let's go working
Squeeze
for the
this one
men."
in.
Yeah, squeezed it in and took it back then because I sing live when I'm out there, but you're trying to remember like what 30 songs. So I vocal from here and did it, and then there was a lovely big gap where I could still keep going, but I decided to write a new section, and that's the really fast sung bit, the It Don't Matter the Color We Color. So that's all that really was like added to the song. The rest is the same way it was when I was 17, really. So
Yeah. So what was that? Was it just perfect timing to get it down now, or is it just was it a decision to make it? You know, do you want to actually get a version of this song out there? Because obviously you've played it live, and it
yeah,
obviously no matter when you play it live, it's going to be slightly different each time you play it. Whereas now
yeah,
this is almost like a definitive version of it out there.
yeah. I mean, I just was like, I did that one and another old one that I wrote with Jack on the same session, but I was recording it solely because I knew that, yeah, say we get 22, 24 songs done, some of them might not make the album, right? But I'll have. So I didn't want to waste my opportunity of never getting to record that song.
Yeah.
Knowing that maybe one day it might just go to fans and that's it. But it felt weird not having an MP3 of this track. I didn't anticipate that the teams and everyone would love the song so much that it would be a single.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
that, I didn't anticipate. I just was thinking like deluxe. I'll whack it on a deluxe or something. So, because I guess in my brain, why would I assume that a song I wrote 14 years ago would be a single now? So when it was proposed, like, would you be all right with putting this one out as the first single? I was like, oh yeah, shocked, but yeah. And then I thought about it because obviously when you're thinking about singles, you have to think about what you can talk about the
Mm.
song and like, well, what's the spin, as they always say. um And
or
annoyingly,
even if
like
it's relevant anymore. That's
if it's
the thing, isn't
relevant,
it?
like
Yeah,
literally and annoyingly, it is still relevant. If
exactly.
anything, it's got worse. Like from writing that to now, like the wealth gap has gotten bigger, and we're living in what they're obviously calling a cost of living crisis, but that literally just means if you're poor and you can't afford to live, then you die. And
Yeah.
that's really bizarre to me because when I wrote it, I was writing about, watching my parents because, we didn't have a lot of money growing up. Like we moved into our house. My dad built the house with his own hands, and like when we moved in, there was no steps up to the house. There was no flooring on the. It was just concrete floors, unpainted walls, and that was that. And we made do, and we like tried to improve it every year, whatever. But we didn't have the money to I don't know, to live a lifestyle maybe that other people had. And I remember a lot, I guess, whenever I was about like 10 onwards. And a few times, like my mum had apologized and it broke my heart. She's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, we can't go on foreign holidays like such and such, or, the
Yeah.
other ones in your class." And that's heartbreaking as a kid because it's like, all I do is like, I see you work so hard, both my mum and my dad working their whole lives forever, and then still not being able to afford the things that they want to give to us or the things they want to give to themselves.
Hmm.
And I just find that frustrating. And then obviously when you get to like 15, 16, you start becoming cognizant of like capitalism, consumerism, and politics and all of these things. And I still feel as frustrated then as I do now, where I'm like, surely the system can be better than what we have.
Hmm.
Like, and then you're called naive and stupid as a child, like, no, this is the way it is. And then it's just gotten worse and worse and worse till we're here now. And I still feel 17. I feel frustrated, annoyed, angry, and then there's still no solution. And it's a
Hmm.
very bizarre place. So yeah, unfortunately the song is still incredibly
I
relevant.
mean, I think that's why it's obviously a fan favorite at your shows and stuff, and because it's resonates with the audience and stuff. Obviously being in that situation and just being able to see somebody work so hard and still not be able to change it is something is obviously wrong. But I think one of the amazing things about this recording that you've done now is the energy and almost, I don't want to say upbeat nature of it. It is it's fast
Yeah,
paced,
I
but
get
it's
you.
obviously it's a serious message. But it almost feels like it trying to get the audience to get up and move without actively saying it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the energy that you managed to capture in it is really amazing. I was just wondering if was that deliberately kind of done to try and replicate how you kind of perform it on stage.
Um, yeah, I mean, like the boys in Nashville, dude, they just kind of get it, because played them the ye old demo and it was a certain way. It was very like polished and pristine and clean,
Hmm.
and um, it didn't have that energy. But then when you're talking about it and when they're listening to it, like they know what to bring because obviously I'd said things like gritty, angry, like I want it to almost like get your back up a little bit. So it doesn't have to be posh and it doesn't have to be polite. And I think they did a great job of encapsulating that into the track. And I think that's why I ended up adding the new section. It's like even angrier than the rest of the song because it's just because the whole song has you built up for something, and then I was like, I need to add something that marries it all together in the end. Like,
That's the thing. We'll get the in 10 years' time. We'll get the next one.
oh God, no, it
West
won't. We
Weatherman
won't.
Part Two.
Everything will be better. Everything will be better, and we won't have any more of
Positive.
it.
So, you say obviously you managed to get 22 tracks down there, and of this track. Is there anything that a lot of people use this music themselves to kind of almost as catharsis and kind of a bit of therapy for themselves? Is that how you use your music? Are there songs that you've written and you haven't released yet because you haven't worked on that emotionally, or you keeping it back, or am I, you know,
Um,
is that a weird
Honestly,
question?
I never really think about it too much. I know that's bizarre, isn't it? Like, I go into the sessions. I always keep all my ideas on my phone, on the notes, and like that's been really helpful. Like, I get an idea. even if it's just a
Like,
payoff line or a song title, I make sure it's on my phone notes. And then sometimes I'll go and expand it in my evenings and make these like documents with idioms and like turns of phrases and stuff. But I I write about, yeah, I think the thing is, right. So I did that confessional album, and that was me like pouring my heart and soul, telling all my dirty secrets and exposing everything, right? And from there, I was like 10 stone lighter mentally and emotionally, right? Because like all my demons were put there. And for the first time, especially on Emotional Rodeo, and it's carried on now into the next album where it was, I can finally write music more in tune with myself. Like, I
mhm.
am a very silly, not taking life too seriously type of girl. And I'm glad that there's a lot of songs that reflect that. But then on the flip side, like, I have BPD and bipolar, and I feel my emotions super, super deeply, and it's gut wrenching and it's painful, but it makes for good music. But it's nice that I have both the light and the shade, whereas I used to only be known as the ballad girl.
Yeah.
Like, so it's been nice to show both sides. But I'll go into your writing session and like, yeah, if something's happened in my life on the run up to it, like sometimes I don't even have a document for something. I'm just like, this is like, get somebody to play a few chords, and I'm like, right, that's what that's saying to me. It's speaking to me in this way. I don't have a note for it, but we'll start afresh and we'll just write in the room.
Yeah.
Especially
But
for ballads. Like, I'll normally do like two songs in a session. The first one's a more considered, it's got a note, it's got a document. And then I always joke, and it sounds so bad, but I'm like, right, let's smash out a ballad.
get
But
the
it's
emotional
just
stuff out of the way.
yeah, well, get the heavy lifting
Yeah.
lyrics stuff done, and then ballad writing is so therapeutic and cathartic. And because of the mental health stuff, I'm always able to tap into the well of big feelings and hard
Hmm.
topics in my personal life. So I do that at the end of the day, and it's a nice way to end a session on a big heavy feeling.
But it no longer feels like you're unlocking that dark room anymore. There's no, it's more of a you just
No,
you feel more connected. Yeah.
it doesn't own me, and like I I still feel all my feelings. I still have all my feelings, and I'm able to feel and process them, but they don't rule my life and they don't rule my everyday.
Hmm.
And that's a really nice place to be. Like, I can tap into it without it ruining my whole day.
Yeah, it's become an asset instead of something that's holding you back. Which I mean, that's the best way to do is to process that stuff. But do you feel like that's how you're going to continue on with your career? Is it going to be coming that you're not concerned about you sharing your feelings anymore? It's more about being connected with it and telling where you are at the moment, or you're going to be a bit more reflective.
I think we're like, because of getting that big conceptual album done, like I think we're getting a closer view at my life and my feelings and my experiences in real time. Whereas it
Hmm.
used to take me like 5 years to make an album. Whereas now it's much quicker cycles. So it's still the same level of vulnerability, but with like less life or death topics.
Yeah.
It's more just like manageable every day. I still haven't written a love song though. I was talking about that the other day. Like, I've written loads. Okay, I've written loads of love songs. But when I send them out to friends or teams, like people I trust their opinions on, because I'm not one of these people that wants to send a song out for an opinion and people go, "Oh my God, that's amazing," and it sucked. I'm like, this isn't furthering anybody's career. Just like, tell me if you like
Yeah.
it or not. You don't have to give me critique. You can just say it sucks. And pretty much every single song, because I've written so many love songs, I send them, and every single time it's like, nah, not your best. Nah, I wouldn't focus your energy on this one. And I'm like, this has been 14 years, man, of writing songs properly, and no love song has landed. This is like, should I be concerned? I don't know.
Well, it's weird that you mentioned that because that was one of my questions was obviously you've got this emotional spectrum that you've covered off and then that you haven't covered that off yet. So
Oh,
we should expect a love song at some point over the next 10 years from you. If
Bloody hope so.
Or do you feel,
Jesus.
or stop me if this is too personal, but does it feel like you have to have it slightly more from a place of authenticity, and you're slightly guarded about sharing that, or
Do you know what? My creative director stylist was basically sent me that in a text. They were like, "Do you think it's like not the fear of vulnerability, but like being vulnerable in a way that's so personal?" And it's been on my brain. Like I have no shame in the game of like being in love and being soppy and being um as cringy as being in love is. I have no
Mhm.
problems with it whatsoever. It's just for some reason, like lyrically, I think the songs are of a high caliber when I write them and for the love songs, but like the melodies just don't seem to sing with that. So I
Yeah.
don't know what it is. And maybe it's because maybe I've not been in love properly. And that's also very possible because I've only got into remission with BPD in the last like 2 years. So
Yeah.
I've left all my turbulent, toxic relationships in the past now. And maybe it's because I need to get in a relationship that's actually normal and lovely and not turbulent.
Yeah, and actually with you, because it's that you've taken so long to kind of craft who you are, but like
Mm.
emotionally, and then so
Yeah.
even if you were in love, it's not the person you are now, so it's kind of a difficult place to come from. I mean, obviously you've covered love songs, obviously
Low.
the Cure and stuff like that, and so you've obviously got the vocal range and emotional delivery to be able to
Mm.
land that. So it must be the fact that you still have that secret door that you're holding back.
Yeah,
But it
something.
obviously when it comes out, it's going to be immense because obviously if when you release that, it's going to be 100% authentic and emotional and
Yeah, fingers crossed.
straight to number one. But talking about that, obviously where you come from, if you could go back there to when you were first starting off YouTube and sit down with yourself and talk to yourself, would you let yourself go and do all the stuff and all the choices that you did already, or would you kind of give some advice and some guidance like, to do things slightly differently?
It's so hard, right? Because it's like, because I always get asked if you had any advice for your younger self, what would it
Yeah,
be? And I always just I'm like, one, don't drink, and two, get a psychiatrist. But like that would have changed the trajectory of so much of my
of where
life,
you
I
were.
think.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, and I think learning the hard way for so much of my life and making all these mistakes and like you know even becoming an addict and what that means and all those things but all that pain that I went through seems to be really useful, not even just for myself, but like when I did like the BBC documentary for the young female and addicted, so like
Mm.
talking about alcoholism and addiction in young women, like it's it seems really helpful and like in the weirdest way, like some knowledge that I've had has helped people. So I would never ever want to take that away either. Like
Yeah.
because I've had so many amazing conversations, like people messaging being like when that documentary aired and they were like sending me a video of them pouring booze down the sink and then I hear nothing from them. And then 3 years later, it's like, hey, I'm 3 years sober since da 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 da. And
Mhm.
I'm like, that's insane. Like, I don't know. I think I've learned a lot that I don't know if I'd want to throw all that self knowledge and learning away.
Yeah. That,
Obviously, it'd be nice not to hurt myself in the way that I did, but also I don't have a magic wand, so like I'm making the most out of the cards I was dealt.
yeah, and the thing is, you can't go back either. I mean,
No.
that's the point. But I think the fact that you have that personality type to kind of keep pushing, regardless of the situation you're in, and I know it's obviously you've been in places where it didn't seem like you could do, but you still managed to. Um, is a spotlight and a lighthouse to other people who are going through those same emotional problems, and it is you don't. Do you feel that that's an emotional weight on your shoulders? That you have to kind of live with the fact that you've almost like showing that you can get out for that. As you said, people contacting you saying that they've uh, getting
That's
through their own
sober.
trauma. And so, yeah, yeah, so good stuff.
Um, that was a big conversation I think I had with like my teams and like my mental health people that I work with and stuff. Like, you know, is doing something like this or is sharing your life in this way? Because it all started with a YouTube video where I just told my
Mhm.
story of my addiction and stuff. And I think for me, they were like, is the pressure of putting all this out there, is that going to make you relapse or is it going to make you like, yeah, be bouldered underneath the pressure of expectation? And I did consider it, but honestly, like, I don't like lying. And I felt for years that I was lying, right? Because people own, like, whenever I'd say I didn't drink or anything, they'd be like, oh, of course you don't, because you're the wee sweet fairy from the internet. Like, you would never drink. And I'm like, that is not my truth, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and like the thing is, if you're vulnerable, open and honest, people meet you with vulnerability, open
Hmm.
and honesty. You know what I mean? And it's something that I cherish. You know, I'll have people pull me aside at random gigs or shows or festivals, and they're like, "That really helped me. That really impacted me, and it's helped." And I don't know if I would change that. Like, does it weigh on me? I don't think so, because God forbid, like, touch wood, if I did relapse or something like that, that's that's humanity. That's
Yeah.
being a person. Like, nobody is perfect. There's no such thing. And like, if I did, I would hope that I would be able to share the same kind of journey again and like talk about what it was like in those trenches and trying to better myself from it. Like, I
Mhm.
don't fear failure. Like, I just think like if that happens, you just have to push on.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and also it's your story at the end of the day, isn't it? It's your life, so you don't owe
Mm.
anybody else anything. And but as I said, you do seem to have that personality who does keep pushing on, and that's the message I've been getting from obviously your latest single and your music as a whole is just it's a force to move forward. Now your show's coming up. We're going to be seeing you a range of different places from festivals and stuff. Is it In It Together festival that we see you up next in May? I believe,
Think
or
so, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And you've also got you're playing up in Muncaster Castle later on in the year, I believe, with
Yes.
Els Bailey. So that's a great venue as well. It's fantastic.
I keep
So
hearing this. Yeah, everyone's
yeah,
been telling me little secrets about it too, and I'm like, okay,
yeah.
okay.
There's a lot of stories of that place. So it's should be fun. But yeah. So are we gonna with the scale of stuff that you're doing from large festivals to kind of small intimate venues? Does that affect how you perform, or is it just the honest Janet Devlin when wherever he's here?
I think I've got really lucky, right? So if I've got the full band, you get to benefit from a bigger sound and more bodies on stage, right? And that bolsters you up a bit, and that's amazing. Obviously, that costs a lot of money, right? But anytime I get to play with the full band, that's a blessing, and I really really enjoy it. You would have seen me with my stripped down set,
Hmm.
which is with Mando Mike Everin, and John Matz. And now Mike played with me on my first ever solo show ever, like literally 14 years ago. So I've known him through all of the chaos and all of it, everything. He's been there. And then John joined in 2020. And those two boys get on like brothers. They're like best mates. Definitely got a bromance thing going on. But I love it for them. And they're two just like, one of them's a bird watcher and the other one's a man of God who dedicates his spare time to the church, you know?
Hand in
But
hand. Yeah.
they're funny as hell. And I genuinely love them like brothers. And when we go out on stage, even though there's less of us, it's just three people, I feel like the joy and love that I have for those two kind of makes up for the fact that there's only three of us.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The
Because like
energy,
they're
you
not
share the
afraid to,
energy.
yeah, and
Yeah,
they're not afraid to like rip into me on stage. Like they will at
yeah,
my expense. But like so it's like a different energy, but it's still a great one, you know.
yeah. As I said, from seeing you perform, it's always it's a different performance each time, but in a good way. Now,
Mhm.
I'm hopefully I'm going to be at one of those gigs over the coming year. But it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, Janet, and I'd be happy to talk to you all day. You're just so affable, it's like and sociable. So hopefully we'll catch up again over the year, and we can see how great the tracks have done.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, and if you see me somewhere, just run up to me.
Ideal. Thank you very much.
Sometimes even when I'm resting, I look sad. I have resting sad face. Do not worry. Just come up and say hi.
Name's Finnegan. I have the same thing. So yeah,
it's mad. I have strangers coming up going, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I'm fine. I was just listening to some music, Capaldi. It's all right."
I'm actually really happy. It's just, should I be said?
Thank you so much for your time, though. I really blooming appreciate it, dude. Thank you.
Thanks for that, and I love the track. I love the track as well. So hopefully,
thanks, man.
See you soon. Yeah.
See you, dude. Bye.